There's a new government whistleblower targeting the Trump administration, this time at the CDC. A top scientist there tells CBS News the agency backed away from its fight against climate change and even talked about using different terminology over fears of antagonizing the administration. The whistleblower was the head of the CDC's climate and health program until last year when he was reassigned. Mark Strassmann spoke to him and is at CDC headquarters in Atlanta. Mark, who is this whistleblower?
Good morning. His name is Dr. George Luber, and he's worked at the CDC for 17 years. The agency made him its public face of climate science and its effect on diseases until the day his bosses wanted him gone. George Luber was such a celebrated scientist, he hung out with other stars, like Matt Damon. They flew around Los Angeles in this Showtime special talking about rising temperatures.
Well, it's a small field, but I'm one of the world's experts. I wrote what I like to think of as a definitive textbook on the subject.
In late 2016, Luber was organizing a CDC climate change conference. Al Gore was to be the keynote speaker. But right after Donald Trump was elected president, Luber's boss called him in.
I was told the optics are not good and that I needed to cancel it.
Did he explain what the optics issue was?
That the meeting was happening 3 weeks after the inauguration.
And that the White House would be unhappy?
Yeah.
America's new president had a dim view of Luber's science.
With the global warming and that, a lot of it's a hoax.
Luber says his boss wanted something else.
Just don't say climate change. Can you call it extreme weather? Can you call it something else?
You're saying that the Centers for Disease Control was suddenly afraid to use the term climate change?
Yeah. Absolutely. I was told to use a different term.
In March 2018, the CDC revoked Luber's badge, phone, and credentials. He was escorted off the property. The CDC moved to fire him. Luber faced more than 30 troubling allegations, from falsifying time cards to seeming hungover. He refuted all but one charge and was allowed to stay. But Luber says the CDC dismantled his climate and health program, which the agency denies.
The program has not changed. The program is the same. It was just placed in a different administrative unit.
At the CDC, Dr. Patrick Bricey is Luber's boss. He's the senior manager who Luber says ordered him to scuttle the science conference.
It wasn't canceled. We postponed it.
You didn't feel any pressure at all?
No.
Politically?
No.
That conference happened, but without CDC sponsorship.
Were any CDC employees ever told, stop using that phrase, climate change?
Not to my knowledge, but we did discuss it.
That you changed from climate change to extreme weather because climate change was more radioactive.
We never made that change. We talked about possibly making that change, but we never made the change.
What's unchanged, Bricey insists, is the CDC's commitment to studying climate science, but without its star, George Luber. I asked Bricey why.
I can't talk about personal matters. I'm sorry, Mark.
Has he been banned from the campus?
So that's a personal matter that I can't discuss.
Is the CDC retaliating against him?
I'm just not going to comment on that.
Luber still works at the CDC, but potentially faces up to a 4-month suspension. He has to work from home, where he reviews scientific papers unrelated to climate change.
I do not want media attention and never did with this, and let me do my work.
Luber's whistleblower complaint is still under review. It also alleges the CDC illegally misspent $10 million that Congress had set aside for climate change research. The agency denies that. Tony?
Meanwhile, the science remains the science. Mark, thank you very much.